Okay, greetings. In this video, what I'm wanting to do is go through some basics about creating menus in WordPress and also the creation of menus in WordPress specific to the Divi theme that we're using for our second project websites. So what we're looking at here is a page on what's called the WordPress Codex. And the WordPress Codex is, if you will, the official documentation for WordPress. Its URL is codex.wordpress.org, and I've put a link to this page and another one we'll be looking at about creating menus in WordPress on our class website. But in my experience using WordPress over the last 10 years and often looking for tutorials on different topics, the WordPress Codex is not going to be the highest quality tutorials you can find. Those are usually on the websites of independent authors and small companies and WordPress topic blogs, where they put in a little more time and effort to really create high quality articles and videos. You usually do not see videos on the official WordPress Codex, but if you go to some of these other sites, you will find those. Like, for example, the Divi blog and Divi documentation links that I've put on our class website, those all tend to be higher quality in general than what you get at the WordPress Codex. But the WordPress Codex can be useful, and especially for some of the more sophisticated technical topics, like creating plugins and creating themes from scratch and doing some, behind the scenes serious hacking of the system, then the Codex can be very helpful. But anyway, this page is about a generic page about WordPress menus, a user guide, creating menus, managing menus in WordPress. I created a link to this page on our class website on the, I think it's second project website resources page, and also this page on the WordPress Codex, which is a more in-depth treatment of managing menus in WordPress. And our second project websites, we're using the Divi theme, but Divi is of course running on top of WordPress, so these WordPress tutorials still apply. Now let's go over to a website that is one of the websites that I've set up related to our class projects. And here we're looking at, just kind of a standard dashboard for WordPress. And what I want to show you is by highlighting the appearance item, we then see one of the options is menus. So this is generic WordPress, it's generic WordPress functionality. You will always have an appearance menu in WordPress, an appearance menu item, and underneath it you will always see this menus option. And this is the primary place for creating and managing menus in WordPress. And the menus then in turn, oftentimes you'll see them at the top of the page. They can be horizontal, they can be vertical, but they can also be footer menus, they can be in sidebars. You can have multiple menus for any given website, or you can have no menus at all. So all those options. So once we click on that, this is a CSIS second project website. This is the only page I've got for this website. Here we see pages, we see posts. Now, if this looks familiar, this is a website for a project that I created for classes I teach to replicate a simple website in Divi. And there's 3 posts for that simple website. And the posts are titled Completely Custom Websites, Travel Biz Websites, and Real Estate Websites. So those are the 3 posts, the only 3 posts I have for this website. There's only one page, which is its home page, which is titled CSIS Second Project Website. So what I want to show you here is that I have, I'm going to click the Manage Locations tab to see what I've got there. I've got a main menu, okay? Edit menus. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create a, I could work on this menu, but I'm going to create one from scratch. I'm going to say create, I click the create new menu item, and then I'm going to say my test menu, create menu. Okay, so I have just created a new menu called test menu. It doesn't have anything on it. I can click this automatically add new top level pages. That means whenever you create a new page for this website, it'll automatically put it up on a menu somewhere as a top level page. Then you can pick a primary or a secondary or a footer location. So usually primary is up at the top of the page, footer is usually at the bottom, secondary will often be on a sidebar, but that's 3 different menus that you can have for this website. Okay, so we've just created a new menu called test menu. I'm going to add my one page to it, add to menu. This is not a realistic example, because if you only have one page on a website, you probably don't, or this would be called home. It would be the home link. But it just came in as a menu item for this menu. And now I have my 3 posts. Let's say I want to bring all 3 of these onto my menu. You could. But I want those to be under something called My Posts. I've got a page, and I've got 3 posts rather. As it is right now, those 4 items will all appear equally, like along the top of the page or in the footer. None of them will be drop-down items and so forth. So I want these 3 to be under something called Posts. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to Custom Links, and for the URL, I'm just going to put in this, which basically means nothing. Do nothing. Don't link to anything. And then I'm going to title it link text posts, add to menu. And it comes in at the bottom. But remember, when somebody tries to click on this one, it's not going to go anywhere because the URL was just a hash mark. So I'm going to take it up here, and I just drag it where I want it. I want it up here. But now I want these 3 items to be underneath it as a vertical drop-down menu. Okay? All I have to do is move those to the left. I just move them to the left one time. And now those will be underneath this. This will not be clickable because the URL doesn't go anywhere. But underneath it, it will show these 3 as a drop-down item. Okay, isn't that cool? And then this one, that's just our home page. So I click on it, and the navigation label, I'm going to change it to home page. Okay, do I need to get me out of the way? And now that I've done that, I'm going to say Save Menu. So that's how you can create a menu. I've just renamed my CSIS second project website page Home. It's the only page on the site for menu purposes. And then I've created a second item that'll go next to Home called Post, and underneath it, it'll have a drop-down menu with these 3 items. And my menu itself is called Test Menu, and currently it doesn't go anywhere because I haven't put it anywhere under Manage Locations. So I click on Manage Locations, and then this is where I could say, use it for the footer, Test Menu, or make it my primary menu, Test Menu. Okay, you get the idea. All right, so that's an important overview of how you create and manage menus in WordPress generically, whether using Divi or a different theme. Okay, now let's go to a page that's also on one of the websites I've created for class purposes, and this is a sample page. And up at the top you should see that it says Home and Sample Page. Okay, so This is, when you create a new WordPress website, it actually creates a sample page, and this is the sample page as of the current version of WordPress in 2018 that it creates. It says, hi, I'm a bike messenger. So I didn't write this. So it just came in with a new WordPress website, right? New WordPress installation. And I created this sample page. There was already a home page I created, so it puts these two up on the menu by default. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sample page and I'm going to turn it into a one-page website. So for a one-page website, I don't need a menu. I don't want a menu up at the top. I just want that menu to disappear. So I'm going to show you how to do that real simply for this page. I go over to the Divi Builder view for this page, sample page. That's the page we were just looking at. And if I go down the right side of this page, I will see under Page Attributes, Default Template. If I click the drop down, I get an option to select instead a blank page. If I pick that and I click Update, then what will happen is that when I go back to this page and refresh it, we're going to see the menu up here disappear, because on a blank page template, you do not have a menu. So I'm going to refresh the page now, and we should see that menu disappear, and it's gone. Okay, so there I just showed you an important technique for making a menu disappear, making menus disappear, period, on any page where you don't want them. It could be because it's a one-page website. It could be for another reason. You can just select a blank page template instead of a default template. Now I'm going to show you a different example of this, and this one looks the same, but it's a different page on a website I've created for class purposes. This is a different page, but once again we see home and sample at the top. In this case, it's a little bit more difficult to make it disappear because you can't see the URL up here probably, but this is not a page that's been created. This is the default location for this website, and it just comes up by default with like no results found. There's no pages, there's no posts, there's nothing. But by default with Divi and with most themes, you have a menu. So actually I still have a sample page on this connected to this website, which is why this appears. So what I want to show you here is a different way to make the menu disappear, not just for one page, which is what we did just a second ago, but for all pages on the website. At least I think that's what we're going to do. So, for selected pages. So what I'm doing now is I'm over at something with Divi installed. You click Divi and you will see a theme options. You will see a theme options option. And then underneath it, you will see navigation, builder, layout, a lot of different options. Okay? So if I click on the navigation tab under Divi theme options, what you see right here is pages, exclude pages from the navigation, sample page. So if I click that, do you think it'll make that sample page item go away? Well, we're going to find out. So I click Save Changes, and the little green arrow tells me it saved its changes. I'm going to refresh this page, and I expect to see sample page disappear, and it did. Cool. So that will take that off of all menus on all pages on that website, that particular item. It's another way of doing things besides the, you could also do it under the generic WordPress menu management options. Display home link, home page link, that's enabled. What if I disable that and I click Save Changes? Now, will that make that home page link disappear, I wonder? So I refresh the page and it disappeared. So what I'm wanting to show you here is that there are options in other places besides the appearance menus page that we just looked at, specific to Divi where you can control things. And in fact, here's an ability under navigation categories, post categories that you exclude. I'll let you, look into these things as you find time. Okay, so that's a little more in-depth treatment of managing menus, especially using Divi. And then a final example I want to show you specific to Divi is that this one-page website should look familiar to you. It's our second project it was a Divi site replication exercise. It says second project website, but it's actually we did it as a Divi site replication exercise. One-page website built with Divi. Okay, so this will look familiar to most of you watching this video, this website, okay? But something I would like for it as a one-page website is I have this handy back to the top arrow, which is kind of cool. But this website where the backgrounds change, the backgrounds change colors and graphics, most of you know that is implemented behind the scenes with sections in the Divi Builder. So what I'm wanting to show you here is that even for a one-page website, you can add a real slick navigation that floats here in the right-hand column and allows you to go to sections very easily on the page. If I go over here, this is the page that we're looking at, and here's the different sections that you see and so forth. So another option I want to show you, and you can access this from what's called the Visual Builder as well as this classic Divi Builder view. But here, Divi Page Settings, dot navigation. If I say on, okay, dot navigation, and then I click Update, what is the mysterious dot navigation option? Well, we're going to find out. So I'll refresh the page here. And there we see the dot navigation. So as I scroll down the page, you will see probably, oh, this is interesting. So, oh, this is really slow loading. Yeah, you'll see the dots change. But if I want to go to like the last section on the page, I click the last dot here, and there I am at my contact form, or I want to go back up to the top. So I still actually have my back to the top arrow that pops onto the page as I go down the page, and I can go to any specific section this way. There's other ways to create navigation on a one-page website. You can actually create a conventional menu and have what are called anchor links using the href tag, which normally goes off to a separate page, on a website, anchor links, but can also be linked to what are called anchors on the same page. So those are all options for one-page websites. Okay, so we've just covered a lot of great things in this brief video tutorial about WordPress menus. And this is the Divi tutorials main Divi documentation page, which I didn't really mean to end the video on necessarily, but it would have something among these links too, like learning the basics probably about menus. WordPress, by being the world's most popular web dev platform, bar none, with about 25% of all websites out there numerically built on WordPress, there are so many great tutorial resources for WordPress. Both articles and just a ton of great videos on YouTube and Vimeo. So if you get stuck on anything, you don't find the resource on the class website of things I've linked and recommended, just put it into Google or put it into the YouTube search window and you'll find great resources. Okay, so I'm going to end this video tutorial here.